Hi, this is Jejin again, and this is my first video of the series that I'm thinking about to make. So these videos that I'm gonna make for this series is not gonna be form of an interview, but this is more about me sharing my understanding or thoughts, or sometimes an opinion about the parenting materials. So I'm going to use the materials that I found very helpful for me. So I'm going to share the reference, sometimes a link to the videos or the name of the books and whatnot. And I'm just going to talk about what I understood from the material, and you can see what my thoughts, and then you can actually comment on the comment section saying, okay, I agree with you, this is good, or sometimes you have different opinion or different thought about this. I think that's going to be very very helpful for me, and then also you can see my opinion as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting to kind of do this series. So I'm looking forward to make lots of videos about this. Okay, so the first video that I'm going to share with you today is Dr. Gabor or Gabor. This is a video that I found like a year or a couple years ago. I think it's about a year ago, year and a half ago. So if you just go to YouTube and search for parenting, I think this video comes up as a first result. It's the first page results, right? And I click on this, and then actually it was a very short video. It's like about 9 minutes or so to talk about. It was kind of the video of an interview, and then Dr. Gabor was talking about his things, and there are a few things that I like to kind of share on my opinion or my thoughts on this. But I think I think the important part of this one was for me. It's inspired me to research a lot more about Dr. Gaber's child's education, how you think about childcare or parenting. So this one actually boosts me to think of a different perspective. I think it's a bit little not conventional thought about parenting, but I think he is very popular. He has a popular book, which is "Hold On to Your Kids." So I'm gonna put the link in the description, so you can go watch and then can hear my understanding about that, I guess. So I think this video is about. It could potentially be more of a younger child. It's not like a teenager, but they're kind of his video. There are a bunch of his videos that actually he talks about the adolescents and teens and how their relationship changes. So I think that's going to be a good sort of starting point for you, and then you can actually expand your thought. And and it's very interesting video, and it's very the music and all is kind of calm you down and then got you think about this. Um, so there's two things that I'm going to talk about on that video. So yeah, so I'll try one, maybe one. So yeah, try one, and if it goes into this, if it takes if one takes too long, then maybe I just talk only one. So the first point that he talks about is about self-suppression versus self-regulation. I think this is very common, and I think it's very clear. But I think it's very important to talk about this. The self-suppression basically. I mean, yeah, self-suppression and self-regulation is the same kind of goal, right? So, the children is in the frustrated state, emotional state. They're frustrated, they're angry, or they're emotionally uneasy right now at this point, right? So it happens all the time. So to get out of that emotional state into the normal state, not so frustrated state, right? Uh, so one way is normally I think is we're kind of showing so throwing temper when the kids are throwing a temper, which is not sometimes not acceptable for the parents, right? So uh, one way is basically you kind of give angry face or scold them, so that it kind of helps or not helps, kind of force them to get out of that emotional state, and then that now is better, right? So you're crying, angry, and no, 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 you cannot do that. Yeah, get out of that, and then you're not gonna have what you want. I don't like you doing that. I'm gonna, whatever. And then you kind of force them to get out of the emotional state. Now is better, and then continue, right? But another way to approach this is when kids are in the first is emotional state. You're not angry about the fact that they're frustrated. And I understand that you cannot do this even if you want to do it. This is so. So you understand the situation, and then you probably a lot of time, most of the time, you understand where the frustration come from. But basically, the way you kind of teaching the self-regulation is, I'm not angry about the fact that you're frustrated, but I help you out. I help you to get out of that state by yourself, right? So I'm not assisting. No, I'm not forcing you to get out of that emotional frustrated mind, but I will help you learn how to get out of that emotional frustrated emotional state by yourself, which is building a self-regulation, uh, so self-regulation basically. So this is a very important aspect. I think this one has a very long-term effect. So if you do it right at the beginning, like I don't know, very early age of children, and then they learn, they picked up how to do the self-regulate, self-regulate of the emotional state. I think that will just help a lot for the future, even in the teenager times, or even when the kids will learn this how to regulate themselves, their or uneasy sort of emotional state. I think that's a very good lesson we can teach to the kids, right? Self-regulation teaching will take a lot of time. It is time consuming. You want to be patient, but it, but it actually help the kids in the long run. But this is different from permissive, right? So let's say, for example, your kids are throwing a temper because you didn't get the cookie before the dinner, right? Uh, so uh, so the Dr. Gabe would say, you don't have to be frustrated about the fact that the kids want the cookie before the dinner, right? So they're angry, and you can just say, you can basically, tell them, no, no, this is not allowed. You're not gonna have it. Why do you want the cookie? I told you many times we have to eat this, and then you just force them to get out of that emotional state. Maybe the kids are crying or whatever. But self-regulated command. I understand you want it, and I know you're throwing a temper, but I'm not gonna give you the cookie because I explained to this. So the way you approach, and then you wait for them, and then you try to get it and get this frustrated emotional state out of it, right? So giving them an opportunity, but this is not a permissive way, because permissive way or the spoiling the child. You understand their emotional state, but you don't give what they wanted. So if you give the cookie before the dinner, maybe that's a permissive parenting. But you understand the emotional state and help them get out of that emotional state, frustrated emotional state by themselves. I think that will definitely have a good influence for the children for the long term. So another point that I found on that is, I mean that the self. I think a majority of people are using self suppression. They actually causing the self suppression rather than self regulation. I think this very, because we're kind of busy in a way where I mean personally myself, when I deal with the kid, you know, I get frustrated. I get frustrated when they got angry. They get, they get throw a temper, and then just wanna force them to get out of their state and then go to the thingy, go to the better state, right? So I told you not to do it. Maybe giving you a face, angry face, scold them to get out of that. But put a time. Sometimes I try to put a time to be patient about their emotional state. I think I should have done a lot more on that one. So, I think I talked quite a bit. So maybe I will not talk about the second portion. Maybe I take another video on that one. But the second part is basically the parents. He talks about as parenting as a role versus relationship. I think it's a very interesting things that we can talk about. So maybe we're gonna have a part two on this. But yeah, so. Uh, the main point, yeah, the first point that I want, self suppression versus self regulation. I think that's very important. And one thing that I didn't mention is self regulation doesn't have any residue. I'll say residue. If you have a self suppression, this residue accumulates. The emotional residue stays and it accumulates, and there will be a point where you cannot take it anymore. I think So yeah, as you get older now, parents can force you to out of that sort of frustrated state of mind, emotional state. But I think you have something left, right? So those emotional unfairness that the kids feel that accumulates, and it can actually it can potentially impact the relationship between you and yourself and kids. So yeah, so uh, I don't know if I explained it well enough, but uh, I think it was kind of fun thought, but fun discussion to myself. So hope you enjoyed this video and talk to you later. Bye.